So welcome to today's webinar, where we are going to be talking about recruitment marketing and how to succeed in really attracting candidates and strengthening your employer brand on social media. And today we are joined by Jobelon's very own social media specialist, Albin, which is super fun. Hi, Albin.
Hi, this is gonna be amazing. I haven't spoken in front of a lot of people for like a year or two.
Yeah.
So it's like you have this little nervous feeling, but when you convert that into energy, then I just think you can do anything. So
yes,
it's gonna be amazing.
Nice. And would you just care to give the people a short introduction to yourself and sort of what you do in terms of the recruitment marketing work here at Jobelon?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, super fun that all of you joined. My name is Albin Mannberg. I work as a social media specialist at Jobelon. I have been here since October last year, and before that I sort of created my own project for 4 years regarding to recruitment marketing and employee branding and a lot of data. And after I've been doing that for a while, I came across Jobelon and really found the super happiness culture that we all have, and a lot of great customers and so much data to work with, which is why I started here basically. There's so much to learn, and just in 6 months I think my workload has doubled from roughly 100 campaigns per month, and now we're up at 240. So super fun, and I really hope that by this webinar I can take my learnings from it and give it to all of you so you can start creating your own campaigns.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a hectic month since you started here, and we're growing super fast, which is really exciting, but also really good work from your side, and we're excited to share some of the learnings from that period. And for those of you who don't know my face, I'm Kalle. I work at the marketing team here at Jobelon, and I actually used to work with recruitment campaigns for our customers as well. So between me and Albin, we've probably created thousands of campaigns for some of the largest employers in the Nordics and Europe, which is super fun. And just to give you a quick overview over Jobelon, so we provide a modern and user-friendly hiring software that's used and loved by recruiters and hiring managers all over the world. And these are the people that we talk to every day, and especially Albin, because you get, as you said, hundreds of orders for recruitment marketing campaigns every single month. And we've been really privileged to work with these brands and doing everything from more strategic employer branding campaigns on social media to filling a specific vacancy through doing a pure sort of recruitment campaign on, say, LinkedIn, for example. And as you said, Albin, it's very developing to work with these customers, and we're going to try and share as much of our knowledge and experience as we can with you today. And sort of where we want to start off is that people spend a lot of time on social media today and online in general. We're always near social interaction, we're always connected, and this is of course true for candidates as well. And I would say there are sort of 3 big things that candidates do on social platforms today that they didn't do before. The first of them being that they discover jobs. So today we actually use social media such as LinkedIn, for example, but even platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok to learn about vacancies and discover new jobs. Candidates also research employers. It's really common that candidates visit potential employers' social media profiles, check out what they're about, what it's like to work there, just to get a sort of feeling for the employer brand. And the last part is that they talk to friends and colleagues. And this is really important because even if you do a campaign and you don't target the specific candidate you'd like to reach, they probably know someone who would be perfect for that role. So it's really important to just facilitate that conversation and make it easy to talk about your brand and the jobs you have available. And I think it's safe to say that we've seen a massive shift in where candidates spend their time and attention today. And just to give you sort of a sense of this shift, the first of these numbers is that 65% of Gen Z, which is the future workforce, the next generation of employees today, they use social media every single day. And Albin, we've also found that 79% of job applicants use social media in their job search, which is quite a bit. And just to wrap it up, 140 minutes are spent on social media per person per day on average, which is a lot too, more than 2 hours a day. So, I mean, it's quite obvious, I think, for everybody here that candidates are spending their time online, they're spending their time and attention specifically on social media. But not only do they hang out there, they also use it as a tool to learn about new job opportunities, to further their careers, and discover new employers and see what they're about. So something we've been curious about here is, like, why aren't all employers doing recruitment marketing? Like, what's standing in the way for us to succeed in attracting potential new employees on social media? And do you want to take us away here, Albin?
Absolutely. And something that we notice when we speak with a lot of customers and companies is like they don't always know which channel they should promote the job ad in. And that's super important, because when you're on LinkedIn, you're in a more pro mindset than when you're on Facebook or Instagram, then you maybe in a different mindset. So it's like super depending on the time of the day, like target the right audience. We have like a sort of easy way to think about where you should like post your jobs. And if it's more of a white collar, then it should be LinkedIn. And if it's more of a blue collar service, then it's usually Facebook. But this like always changes,
of course,
which is like why data is super important.
Yeah, and we'll get more into tips and tricks such as that. I actually have a quick question for you guys in the audience, and please put the answer in the chat. Albin has actually developed a tool that we use in-house that help us decide what channel to use based on data from thousands of the campaigns that we have produced for different customers. So we actually know, like, based on industry, type of role, type of job, geography, if it's in a big city or more a rural area, what channel we should use. Is that something that would be valuable to you guys to use? Because you can just pretty much plug in the information you have available, and then it will sort of recommend the channel for you. We use it in-house, but I was just curious to see if it'd be something you'd be interested in.
Nice.
Yeah, great to see some feedback. We'll make sure to see how we can make that publicly available, because it's a really useful tool. The second part in why recruitment marketing is hard is that HR, recruiters, hiring managers generally have limited resources when it comes to these types of initiatives. People have a ton of different things to do, and sort of going into an ads manager, designing a campaign, promoting it, and analyzing data isn't really a priority, which is obviously explainable, but it's also a shame because there are such a big opportunity, as we mentioned.
I would like to say here, like maybe 60% of our customers that does campaigns, I think, like have us do it because they actually don't have the time to do it themselves, combined with that we have a lot of data, so we know what we're talking about. But it's like they create a campaign, they press like promoted, and then everything is done. Like we take care of everything.
Yeah. And the third part is that it's often difficult to measure success. So even if you work with a partner or try to do it yourself, you have access to the data that the ad platforms give you, that LinkedIn gives you, that Facebook gives you, that Snapchat gives you. But it's difficult to know if any of these clicks or impressions actually generate, actual candidates that come into your hiring software or ATS or whatever you use, and how these candidates in turn progress. And this is something that we notice a lot when we talk to our customers in quarterly business reviews, for example, that some sources are really good for attracting a lot of traffic to the job ad, but that traffic in turn doesn't convert. So for example, a quite common use case is that LinkedIn usually drives very little of the traffic to the job ad, but that traffic is super high quality and converts at a much higher rate. So say 50% of the people who progress to the first interview actually originates from LinkedIn. And those are the sort of insights you need in order to sort of get the return on investment you need from recruitment marketing in order to invest all of the resources you should.
We actually did like a bit an analyze last week where we saw that 13% of the clicks converted 55% of all of the applicants.
Yeah.
And that was from LinkedIn. So yeah. Yeah, 100% Kalle.
Super interesting. But as we said, recruiters and hiring managers aren't marketers, and their jobs shouldn't be marketing activities. So if you're kind of confused or scared by all these percentages that we're throwing out, it's totally normal. And it's sort of, it maybe should be that way because there are so many other things to do. So what we found is that it's really important to have a strategic partner, either if it's in-house on the marketing team, for example, who knows the landscape. And in that process, also getting support from quality systems in order to measure success, because that helps recruiters and hiring managers to spend time on qualified candidates, which, in the end, it's really all about that. And let's sort of get into more about how we actually do it here in Jobelon and how you can launch your own recruitment marketing campaign. So, with what we just said in mind, that recruiters and hiring managers aren't marketers, and we'd like to give you sort of a picture of how we work here. And we have Albin as the social media specialist. You help all of our customers create amazing campaigns. So could you tell us a bit about your process? How does it work when you create a recruitment marketing campaign? How does it work when you distribute it on different channels? And how do you measure success from those campaigns?
Absolutely. So the first thing that I noticed when I got here at Jobelon is like for the past 4 years, we've created like thousands of campaigns. So the first thing that I did when I went here was to like create an API from LinkedIn, from Snapchat, from Facebook, Instagram, and just collecting all of it in one Google Sheet form. What I did from there was like creating algorithms, which like measured all of the different data points. For example, are we using a picture, or are we using a color? Are we using a specific font? What's the title? Like how long should the title be? What different word should it be? The same with the primary text, call to action, budgets, like data and all of that. And that was also what we were speaking about earlier, like if we should give out this to you. So I use this tool every single day. And like when a customer orders a campaign from us, I always get the ad. I go through the ad, I read about it, see if it's some great copy in it, try to understand what sort of category this is within, what's the qualifications, like building up a picture in my head. And then it's like either the customer have like they've bought a LinkedIn, or they have bought like an optimized campaign. And when we use optimized campaigns, then I get to choose like where this fits the best. And it could actually be like, it could be great on LinkedIn just to drive high quality candidates. But if we also want to work with sort of employer branding stuff, then we could also like split the budget and create 2 different. So one on LinkedIn and one on Facebook and Instagram. So first of all, we look at like the targeting,
so the audience, to
the
sort
audience.
of get an understanding of what candidates what type of candidates spend time on what platform.
Absolutely.
And as you said, traditionally, to generalize, if it's more white collar, probably LinkedIn is a better place for you to be. And if it's blue collar, probably Facebook is the better option there.
Yeah. And on LinkedIn, there's slots and sponsor. That's very important. Like LinkedIn slots, that's basically a job board. But on sponsored, that's like when you want to create a super creative campaign to just find the most hardest people to reach, basically, because you need to surprise them in a creative way. So when we look at the targeting, we go through all of the qualifications, we map out, either it's on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and like starts filling in all of the possible qualifications. And if you have been like a bit aware or heard about in the marketing world, is that Facebook has actually started to make it a bit harder to target the right audience. And I find this really exciting because I love data, and data always shows the proof, which means, let's say I'm from the north of Sweden, and up there we had like a lot of construction workers or service technicians, and we cannot target this specifically anymore. But what we can do is trying to understand what is like this candidate also interested of. So we can like start looking into industrial, manufacturing, metalworking, and like sort of build different audiences and run tests. So for example, when we do a campaign, we can sometimes do 3 campaigns out of it, and just trying to really navigate like how do the candidate think. And when we see like, this new audience reacts better to it and clicks more, then we'll like launch all of the budget in there. Because this is a super relevant question, because like all of our customers are asking like, how do you target right now when big changes are coming?
Yeah, and I sort of to tie back to what we said previously, and we're going to summarize all of these points as well in the end, but it's super important, as you said, to sort of understand your candidates, where they spend time. It's also really important to understand the different ad platforms, because they offer different things. And as Albin sort of led us into there are quite sophisticated nuances of differences between, for example, Facebook and LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, for example, you can actually use super specific job titles to reach a very niche sort of audience, whereas on Facebook, the targeting options are much, much broader. However, that doesn't mean that Facebook is a worse option. So in the north, maybe where there are a lot of construction workers, Facebook could be the better option, because it's the platform of choice in that geographic area, and the targeting options are, sufficient enough for us to reach our desired candidate.
Great point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a really good tip to just sort of get familiar with the different ad platforms. It doesn't mean you have to launch your own campaigns or become an expert, but just sort of get an understanding of the different ad managers. For example, on Facebook or LinkedIn will provide a ton of value for all of listening, because it will help you really understand the limitations and possibilities of each platform, and combine that with the knowledge of where your candidates are spending their time, and you can sort of use that information together to create a really efficient campaign.
And I don't know if I should say it, but I say it anyway. If I know you're watching this and like want to come up with your own campaigns, I could probably just talk with 3 or 4 out of you and like help you get started, like free of charge, just my time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great value, actually. Yeah. So definitely take Albin up on that offer if you are interested. You're obviously really good at this. But can you also tell us a bit about, so we kind of covered, the audience, measurement, and how to follow up. Could you talk a bit about the creative process? Because I think something I struggled with when I started with recruitment marketing was sort of the creativity part, how to design an engaging campaign, a good picture, and interesting text.
Absolutely. So that's the last part when we're creating a campaign. And I have this little tip for like how to create a great copy. And in the startup world, in the sales world, you talk about NABC. need, approach, and competition. And when I'm typing like a script, I always talk like about the need. I ask a question for the candidate, like to drive awareness. Are you, have you been, like, what are you thinking about, blah, 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 just to come up with some sort of interesting question. And then for the approach, it's like almost always the offer that we come up with. Like, here you get the chance to work remote, or like, this is your specific job that you will do. And in the competition part, I have changed it because we don't talk about competition, but we want to talk about the call to action. And like to always have like read more and send in your application today, and like trying out different words like that. And something super relevant, on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, you can try out different CTAs like read more or apply now. We have seen that when you use apply now instead of read more, I think we got like 24% better like results out of just that simple little point.
Yeah.
So that's like the text part. And then what we do for all of our customers is that we have like a bank with photos from it. And we always try to design out of the customer's employer branding profile, graphic profile. So it always looks like it's actually the customers that creates this, but it's actually us. So we have a relevant photo, we have their font. If the customer wants to, we can publish through their own employer branding and all of that.
Yeah, and I guess that that's a really important part as well, because the fact is that 96% of the people who see your recruitment marketing campaign will not click. It doesn't matter if it's the best campaign in the world, 96% won't click. So a key tip and a really important thing to bring with yourself from this webinar is that try to deliver as much value as you can in feed, because those 96% will remember your brand if it's on your brand, and sort of the information you say, if you say it in an engaging way. So even if they don't click and convert right now, they might in the future. So try to deliver as much value as you can in the feed. And here are some of the results, just to give you a context to sort of our approach. So this is just the last few months since Albin came on board. We've actually generated 23 million impressions across all channels. We've reached more than 3 million unique candidates and have generated more than 150,000 visits from candidates to our customers' job ads, just to give you a sense of the results you can achieve with recruitment marketing. And yeah, sort of to summarize what we just said, the first step in creating a really good recruitment marketing campaign is to know your audience and where they spend time. And as Albin mentioned earlier, the psychographics are really important. So for LinkedIn, you probably are more in a professional mindset. You are in the mindset where you might be open to talk about job opportunities or even research employers. And you can be therefore more direct there often. Whereas on Instagram, for example, you're usually casually browsing, and that could be a really good place for an employer branding campaign or just spreading awareness about your opportunities. The second part is to set up your campaign in the right ad platform. And as we mentioned before, it's really important that you get familiar with these different ad platforms, because it will increase your empathy for the limitation and opportunities of the different options. So for example, on LinkedIn, you can target titles, whereas on Facebook, it's more interest-based. And how do those things play together in order to affect the outcome of your recruitment marketing campaign? The third part is to design creative and copy that really speaks to your candidates, and try to deliver as much value as you can in feed, because even if they don't click, they will remember you and probably return in the future.
And safe to say that I think on Facebook, when we create a campaign, they have to see it like 3 to 4 times before they actually click.
Yeah. That's a good point. And the last part is to keep track of your data and double down on what works. And the more you do this, the more confident you will be in different platforms, different audiences, different creatives. And when you combine these insights together, you're going to be able to launch really, really good campaigns. And we actually want to show you an example of a campaign we've done. And it's one that we did for ourselves. So we're growing really quickly right now at Jobelon, which is super exciting. And as everybody else, we're looking for great developers. What we did was ask one of the team members from our tech team to record a video of themselves, just sharing a bit about what they do and why they love working here at Jobelon. And I don't know if I have the video version, actually. Let's check. I do, but I don't think there's any sound. Anyways,
we can send this out later.
We can send it out later, yeah, for sure. So yeah, using this 4-step process sort of, and giving you a summary of what we did was first and foremost, decide who is our target audience. And Albin, together with our HR department, decided that we're going to reach out to software developers in the EU. And using your amazing tool, Albin, we learned that Facebook and Instagram are probably going to be the best platforms to reach this audience, because it's such a wide geographic area, and using LinkedIn would be super, super expensive. And this was sort of a casual video. You couldn't hear the audio now, I think, but I will send it out later. It was very casual. And that's something that really fits well into the feed on Facebook and Instagram.
There was a lot of humor in it.
A lot of humor, yeah. So that's tying back to knowing your different platforms. The creative, as we mentioned, a video from the member of the tech team, and the results is really interesting here. So we actually reached more than 160,000 potential candidates. 14,000 of them visited the job ad, which is a huge amount. And we only paid 0.03 euros per click, which is super cheap. I see we got a quick question there. I'll get to it right away, Numan. We're in the process right now, actually. So we have the data in our ATS to follow up. I'm not sure if it's completed right now, but we can definitely take a look. And we posted this video on Facebook and Instagram, campaign-wise.
And like our spend on this campaign is like, I think it's for 4,000 Swedish crowns for 14,000 clicks.
Yeah, it's crazy cheap. So you can actually reach quite a bit of candidates without spending too much money. And I see we only have 30 seconds left. Damn. So we'll get through the takeaways. And if you have any questions, I see we got a few there. Please post them in the chat or Q&A, and we'll get to them in the end. But first and foremost, to sort of wrap up what we've talked about here, the first thing to do is to succeed with recruitment marketing campaigns are to conduct an audit to see which channels your candidates are in. Because even if you have the best creative, the most engaging text, and really do great targeting, if your candidates aren't in the right mindset or aren't on the channel at all, it won't matter, because the people you want to reach aren't going to see it and aren't going to engage with the campaign. You want to take this one, Albin?
Yeah, sure. Super easy. Both Facebook and LinkedIn, Snapchat, if you want to run it, it's like super easy to come up with the ads manager. Just Google Facebook ads manager, and in like 5 minutes you have created your own account. And like there you can see all of the interesting data also, like how many people you reach, what's the frequency, how many clicked, why did they click, what's the age of I can talk about it forever, but let's not do that.
And if you don't want to get your own account, you can always ask the marketing team to just give you a quick tour and show you around. It will increase your knowledge and understanding massively, and I think it's really key to succeed with your campaigns in the future. And the last takeaway is something that's also important to keep in mind, is that you have to make the candidate experience as good and interesting post-click as it is in feed. So even if you strive to deliver as much value as you can directly in the feed, which I think is a great thing to strive for, make sure the candidate experience is as good after they click. So if you have an amazing campaign with an engaging video or a really well-designed image, and the candidate clicks and lands on a job ad that's just plain text, black and white, boring, that says little about why they should work there, there's a big risk that they won't convert, that they won't actually take that last step to apply to your job. So it's really important to have sort of a unified experience across each touch point with the candidate. And that will sort of seal the deal, make your recruitment marketing campaign really, really effective, and yeah, make this initiative work really well for you. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for today. Thank you, Albin, for sharing your insights with us.
There is so much more, but you can't really say about. Yeah, in like 30 minutes.
I know. We already went over time 2 minutes, actually. So it just goes to show that we just scratched the surface here. Thank you so much for listening in. We're going to stick around for a minute or two if you have any questions. But I know all of you are busy, so if you need to go, it is totally fine. We are going to send out the recording really shortly, so you have everything you need if you want to revisit anything. So thank you so much for today, guys.